You are losing thousands of dollars every single month because of unqualified leads. Because most agency owners, they waste 30 to 50% of their lead flow because they are not fit for their main offer. So in this video, I'm gonna show you a strategy that you can implement today to start converting those bad leads into cold, hard cash. And this is something that we just implemented for one of our clients 2 days ago. And the same day we implemented it, they started making money from it. And by the way, if you are an agency owner and you want to squeeze out all of the profit from your business that there is, make sure that you subscribe to the channel because that is pretty much the whole goal of the channel here. So let's get into it. Here you can see the playbook that we are going to be going over. So the agency playbook, instant workshop play, and it's going to show you how to turn dead leads into cash with instant workshop offers without doing all the painful things that I just mentioned. And here in the intro, I already went through all of this stuff, but I just really want to emphasize this play will work for any agency that sells a done-for-you service on sales calls. And the more calls you are booking, the bigger the impact will be. So if you're booking 3 calls a month, or if you're booking 35 calls a month, or 300 calls a month, it will all work for you. But the more calls you have, the more profit you're going to make from this. So the play here is to increase your front end revenue. There are 2 metrics that you can pretty much optimize. Metric 1 is just you can increase the number of leads you generate, which is pretty simple. Or metric 2, you can increase the average dollars collected per lead, aka the dollar per lead metric. So this play is focused on increasing the dollar per lead metric, aka metric number 2. So as an example, if you book 20 calls a month, your dollar or your number of leads a month is naturally 20, right? So the metric 1 for you is 20. Then if you close 4 clients from those calls on a $10,000 contract, your dollar per lead value is $2,000. So every single lead that you get on your calendar is worth $2,000 for you, no matter if they close or not. That's just the average. So if you want to calculate your own dollar per lead, you can do it using this formula. So just take all of the revenue that you have generated and then divide it by the amount of calls that you have taken. And then that's going to give you your dollar per lead. So if you have made $100,000 and you have had 10 sales calls, that means that your dollar per lead is $10,000. In general, dollar per lead is a great metric to keep track of since it blends all the sales metrics into one. Your show rate, qualification rate, close rate, deal size, like it's just one universal metric that you can measure to see how efficient your sales process is. So the instant workshop offers, there are obviously hundreds of ways to increase the amount of revenue you generate per lead. Like as I said, show rate, deal close rate, qualification rate, deal size, all of these things. But one of the easiest way to do this is to introduce an offer that you can sell to all unqualified leads. So if you have 100 leads on your calendar and 50% of them are unqualified your main offer, those 50 leads get completely wasted. So if we just have an offer that we can give to these 50 leads, we are going to automatically make more money from calls that we would have already taken and leads that we already would have acquired and paid for. These leads could obviously be unqualified for many reasons. Maybe they don't have the budget, they don't want to buy a done-for-you solution, or maybe they just don't fit your ideal client profile. So the easiest low-effort downsell for unqualified leads, at least in my experience, is the instant workshop offer. And this is an offer that I have also used personally. I use it every single year. It makes me extra tens of thousands of dollars in pure profit. So it's a great offer. I love it. The offer works like this. Let's assume your core offer is a done-for-you cold email lead generation service. So if the prospect is not a fit for your done-for-you offer, but still wants to use your process, offer them a 3-hour live workshop. And in this workshop, you walk them through the setup process you'd use for a done-for-you client. So extremely simple. Anything that you would normally do when you take a done-for-you client on, just invite the client on a call with you and do it with them, in front of them, sharing your screen and go back and forth, think about the copy and answer their questions and boom, that's it. Super simple. Depending on your current situation, you can price these workshops at $1,000 to $3,000 or even higher, obviously, but this is usually the sweet spot where we see this converting well. And of course, adjust the workshop length to your process. 3 hours, what we generally see, work best for most offers. But if you have a super intense service delivery process and the setup usually takes a long time, you might have to do 5 hours or 6 hours. Or if your offer is really easy to implement, you can just do it in 1 hour. And just do 1 hour, 997, boom. Easy 1K every single time. Anyone in your team who understands your fulfillment process can host the workshop. So obviously if you have team members, when you have scaled up, you can have a team member of yours do it. You probably are already paying them for hours that they are not spending or that they're not busy. Or if you're in the beginning, you can just fulfill these by yourself. With this offer, you're able to convert the leads you already paid for into cash, show them unqualified leads. An example scenario of this is, let's say you book 50 calls in a quarter and you close at 20% and your main offer is $10,000 contract. Those 50 calls would generate you $100,000. Pretty simple. 10 new deals at 10K, 100K from 50 calls. And this would mean that your dollar per lead would be $2,000. So every single time when you get a lead under a calendar, you make 2K. If 50% of those calls are not a fit for your offer, your core done for you offer, you would have 25 bad leads. And again, 50%, depending on what kind of marketing and lead generation channels you use, is pretty average. Like I say this often, like, especially if you sell like a really high quality done for you offer where it's really hands-on and you can't sell it to anyone, 50% is pretty average. If you offer each bad lead an instant workshop offer for $19.97 and close them at a 50%, you would generate an extra $20,000. And again, 50% for this, like, that is just like extra 15% closed for a really cheap offer that is extremely valuable. So let's say your normal offer is 10K, you're selling something at an 80% less of a price. So it has a massive price anchor. And as long as you're not talking to completely broke prospects, or if you're pitching your service at a decently average rate, like 50% on these bad leads is not a hard task at all. And this will take your dollar per lead from $2,000 to $2,400. So you immediately make $400 for every single call more when you implement this. If your core done for you offer has a 70% gross margin, and this generally speaking has like 95, this would mean that you increase your gross profit by 28%. Like this, boom, just free money, right? So the implementation of this offer is simple. Step one, you just write out a document of the steps you would take for a done-for-you client to start delivering them results, or maybe you already know this. You know that every single time when I take a new client, first I have to map out their offer, then I have to identify the right niche, then we have to set up infra, then we have the right copy, scrape leads, and then we have to set up the campaign settings. Like every single offer and service delivery should have simple steps that you take when you start working with a client to get them results. Step two, decide your price. Base this on your done-for-you offer price, because that is the main price anchor. A great rule of thumb is to make your workshop a bit cheaper than 1 month of your done-for-you service. So if you sell a $3,000 retainer, sell this for $19.97. Or if you sell a $5,000 retainer, sell it for $349 or $3,500. Or if you sell a $2,000 retainer, sell it for $15,000 or $1,500, right? So just make it a little bit cheaper than working 1 month with you done for you. And then step three, every time you have a lead that is not qualified for a core offer, pitch them on the instant workshop offer. Pitch everything the same way as you would pitch your done for you, but change the solution to a workshop. So once again, explain them how it would work to work with you, and they say like, hey, instead of us just doing it all for you, I think it's best if we just hop on a quick 3-hour workshop and we build it out for you, and you can have like massive price anchor here, because you can say, normally to work with us, it would cost $10,000 to have this do this for you. But now we can just set it up for you live. You can be there, we'll send you the recording, we'll do everything with you custom, and it's gonna be only $2,000. So it's $8,000 less. And the best thing is you're not gonna be reliant on us, and you have full control of the system. You never need to pay us again, and it's just a way better offer, right? We think it's a better fit for you. So again, there's a massive amount of different benefits that you can use in why the workshop is gonna be better for them than the done for you. And step four, schedule a workshop with a close client over Zoom, or Google Meet, whatever you use. And then on the call, you just walk them through your setup process and send them the recording after. So if you, for example, run a cold email setup workshop, you just show them how to set up the infrastructure, how to scrape the leads, you write the copy together on the call, and you go over the campaign settings, and then you go over how to convert bot responses into leads. Super simple. The client is gonna have some questions. You can answer those questions in the workshop, and you just send the recording to them. Super valuable. Boom. They can have their whole fucking team there if they want to. And as I said, you can fulfill this by yourself, or you can have a team member do it. Or you can even bring on a project-based member into your team to delegate this completely. So someone who has the skill to do these workshops or do these setups live with a client, and then you just pay them every single time when you close one of these. And you can pay them 20% of the workshop price, so you have 80% gross profit margin, which again, like that's money that you would have not made otherwise. And you don't have to do any fulfillment. You close it, and then you have the project-based member just fulfill it for you. That simple. And these workshops are really easy to fulfill since there is no follow-up, no account management, no tech expenses, and the only investment is someone's time. So, and also after you have spent 3 hours with the client, it will also be easy to upsell them into other similar offers because you have spent so much time together, you built rapport, you built trust, you nurtured, they have high consumption. So if you want to sell them, for example, on a $2,000 a month consulting deal, like a weekly consulting call or something else, this is a really easy way to increase your dollar per lead even further. And sometimes we see prospects buy the workshop first and then you do the workshop and they're like, holy shit, you guys are clearly really good. And then they buy your core main offer anyways in the back end, right? So an example of this, in real life, implementation of this play could look like this. I tried to model some that we just actually did, but I had to change the name. But let's say there's John, and John runs a B2B cold email lead gen agency, and he helps his clients generate leads through cold email outreach campaigns. And his core offer is $2,000 a month with a 3-month minimum contract, and the average client is worth around $8,000. So their churn is 25%, average client sticks with 8 months, and John's gross margin is 75%. John has a lead who wants to build a cold email system in-house, so they do not want to invest into a done-for-you offer. They want to control the system. So instead of John just marking this lead as a loss in the CRM, John offers them an instant workshop for $1,497. And in this workshop, John just goes over their normal cold email setup, setting up the infra, setting up the lead list, and writing the copy. And the client saves tens of hours and hundreds of dollars in wasted tech expenses and probably gets way better results from the campaigns immediately. And John increases his dollar per lead and gets an extra $1,500 of profit to invest back into the business immediately. Both parties win. Because if they want to set it up in-house, like that's fine. But hey, let me just show you how we would do this so you don't waste a bunch of time. Nice. So pitfalls to avoid here, few really important things. The main pitfall to avoid is qualifying the lead. You should only pitch the workshop in situations where you are 100% sure that they are not fit for your core offer. Because if you start pitching the workshop to leads you could close on the core offer, your main normal offer, you will decrease your dollar per lead in a lot of ways. Also, make sure you still pitch your process the same way you would pitch for your core offer. Nobody will pay for a workshop unless there is a clear end outcome. So you still have to sell the outcome. You still have to sell your mechanism. You still have to sell your process. You still have to sell all of these things. And then instead of saying, hey, we will handle everything for you, you just say, we will set it up all for you in a call and you can ask questions and then you don't need to pay us ever again and you have full control of it. So you just change that. And during the workshop, build everything for the client while sharing your screen. So just share your screen and build it for you. If you try to do it the other way around where the client shares their screen and you try to like direct them on the call, like, hey, click this button and do this, it's gonna take way too long. And answer any questions they might have and explain your thought process while you're doing it. So then they just learn the process while you're doing it. And key takeaways here, this is one of the easiest ways to increase profit because you can just sell to something to the leads you disqualify for a main offer. And you've already paid for these leads and spent time on a call with them anyways, so why would you not sell them this? Of course, as I said, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see more of these playbooks, as you can see, there are people viewing the Google Docs. They are my newsletter subscribers, so go check out my newsletter from the description below. Join that and you'll get all the playbooks that I'm posting out there. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.